Young Thug is finally out of jail, but he is not out the clear yet because the probation terms the judge handed the rapper are ridiculously strict, and if Thugger violates them, then he is going to spend 20 years behind bars. Now, there's speculation that the state plans to closely monitor him and catch him violating his probation and get him off the streets for good since they failed in court. And once you see the rapper's probation terms, you'll understand why this rumor has been making rounds. So let's get to it. No contact with gang members or YSL affiliates. The rapper's affiliation with YSL is what led to his criminal charges in the first place, and the law wants to ensure he doesn't fall back into his old ways. The judge also made it clear that the rapper was forbidden from making any contact with gang members or YSL affiliates. However, the judge made 2 exceptions to this rule. Thug can only speak to his brother, Quantavious Greer, alias Unfunk, and Gunna, with whom he has contractual obligations. He's a phenomenal artist, Young Thug's lawyer stated. They are contractually obligated, and they frequently make and perform music. But reports now show that Thugger specifically asked for this exception to be included in the probation terms. For anyone who doesn't know why this is suspicious, well, strap in. It all started when Gunna took a plea deal at the height of the YSL RICO case.
The deal that set Gunna free, a major development in a huge racketeering case. The Atlanta-born rapper, Gunna, whose given name is Sergio Kitchens, made a deal with prosecutors and walked out of the Fulton County Jail late this afternoon. Now, Gunna will not have to stand trial early next year with rapper Young Thug.
Gunna had been charged with 1 count of racketeering. According to the indictment, he allegedly received stolen property and was in possession of drugs, including methamphetamine, marijuana, and hydrocodone, with the intent to distribute. Of course, Gunna denied the charges. However, he was denied bail twice, which may have finally broken the horse's back. He agreed to take a deal that would see him go free. But this is not the whole story. Turns out, Gunna's plea saw him initially sentenced to 5 years with 1 year served. However, a judge commuted the 1-year sentence to time served and suspended the 4-year remaining balance subject to conditions, including 500 hours of community service. Overall, the deal meant that Gunna would be a free man. But had he really given the prosecutors something that would put the YSL boss behind bars? Well, a video emerged showing Gunna in court dropping a few truth bombs before a judge.
Please state after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Gunna admitted that YSL was not only a music label, but a gang. He further admitted to witnessing some YSL members participate in criminal activity as a gang.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
When this video was leaked, the industry was ablaze with people calling Gunna a rat. Gunna went on the defense immediately. His lawyers even took to Instagram to deny the rumors that Gunna had snitched. Gunna did not snitch to get out of jail, the Post read. He has said nothing and is not cooperating. His plea statement cannot be used in court against any other defendant. It turns out that the rapper had taken an offered plea. This means that he did not admit guilt, but instead admitted that there was enough evidence to convict him. As part of his offered plea, Gunna's statements would only apply to his case and could not be used in subsequent cases. Well, according to the rapper, he was not going to be a state witness, nor was he planning on getting involved in the trial any further. I want to make it perfectly clear that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way. The rapper's statement read, the rapper claimed that when he joined the label, he did not see it as a gang. When I became affiliated with YSL in 2016, I did not consider it a gang, more like a group of people from Metro Atlanta who had common interests and artistic aspirations. After the video was released, Gunna's best friend Lil Baby, who is also close to Young Thug, unfollowed Gunna on Instagram. Lil Durk followed suit. Many people from YSL also unfollowed Gunna after the video was leaked, even Young Thug's sister. YSL having a civil war beef on Instagram. Everybody in YSL looking at Gunna like, you the reason he in there. They all unfollowed him right after even Thug's sister, DJ Academics reported. And in interviews, Lil Durk didn't hold back on Gunna and called him a rat.
You believe that Gunna told?
Man, I don't sit up and play games, man. That man told. If you should have went in there and kept your mouth closed.
Would you play Gunna in the club?
Would I play Gunna in the club?
Yeah.
No.
Although Gunna had held back for a long time, he finally decided to unfollow Lil Baby and Lil Durk on Instagram, showing the world that he doesn't care anymore. Despite this, in his new song, Bread and Butter, the rapper suggests that he may have been tricked by his lawyers and the DA to take the deal, saying, never gave no statement or agreed to take no stand on him. On whatever you is on then, trust me, I'ma stand on it. Lawyers and the DA did some sneaky shit. I fell for it, on my P's and Q's, because this time I'd be prepared for it. What's crazy is that at the time, Thugger's kids took to the internet to share a snippet of a diss track where they even threatened to kill Gunna, singing, "In Bentley a rat he keep leaving states, and Gunna get whacked if he don't leave LA." Had Thug given his kids the green light to share the snippet, even though it would hurt his case? What's more telling is that his family and industry friends went after Gunna, which means he had allowed it. So why would he specifically ask the judge to allow him to speak to Gunna if he was considered a snitch? Something is definitely fishy with this one, but only time will tell. Thug banned from promoting gangs or gang culture. It looks like the probation terms will affect Thug's music because the judge made it clear that the rapper was banned from promoting gangs or gang culture in any way, shape, or form. This means that Thug's music can't include hand signs or terminology that promotes a street gang. The judge said she appreciated that he realized the impact that he has on people worldwide. She said rap music may involve a lot of posturing, but that children copy some of the dangerous behavior mentioned in his songs. She encouraged the rapper to use his talent and influence to encourage kids to do the right thing. In her own words, she said, "I want you to try to be more of the solution and less of the problem." Turns out that the judge made sure Thugger's talent would be used for the good of the community because she ordered that the rapper to return to the Atlanta area 4 times a year during his probation to make a live anti-gang, anti-gun violence presentation at a school or a community organization serving children. She said that can count toward the 100 hours of community service she ordered him to perform each year during probation. The issue of Thug's music being used as evidence was controversial when it was first brought up in court. At the heart of the controversy was a contentious decision by the Fulton County Superior Court giving prosecutors the green light to enter Young Thug's rap lyrics into evidence in his trial on gang and racketeering charges. This ruling sparked a heated debate about the line between artistic expression and legal accountability, raising questions about whether lyrics can be considered a reflection of real-life criminal activity or are simply a form of creative storytelling. Defense attorneys opposed this move, arguing that it infringed on Young Thug's First Amendment rights and unfairly prejudiced the jury. They argued that rap music, as an art form, often employs exaggerated and fictional narratives that should not be taken as literal confessions of criminal behavior. However, the prosecution maintained that they are proclamations of violence were highly relevant to proving the gang's criminal activities. In fact, the prosecution claimed that it could use the rapper's lyrics to prove the existence of YSL as a criminal enterprise, show the gang's behavior and actions, and show that Young Thug is a leader of the gang. The Fulton County D. Fani Willis also publicly and unapologetically admitted that she would use rap lyrics to prosecute rappers.
I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm gonna use it.
The use of rap lyrics as evidence has been a contentious issue throughout the proceedings. Critics argue that using lyrics as evidence unfairly treats rap as a literal confession, potentially violating the First Amendment. But the Fulton County DA has maintained that she will continue to use rap lyrics as evidence in court.
Well, they're kicking indoors, committing home invasions, and now I'm using those lyrics that they're admitting to doing that. I'm gonna continue to do that. People can continue to be angry about it. I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you do not want them used, or at least get out of my county.
Thug isn't the only rapper whose lyrics has been used in trial because the same tactic could be used to hand one rapper the death sentence. This is none other than YNW Melly, who is accused of shooting and killing his 2 best friends and staging a drive-by shooting. Although his first trial ended in a mistrial, prosecutors intend to introduce the rapper's lyrics to as evidence during the retrial. In a court filing made Broward County prosecutor Alexandra Buckaloo, 55 songs, 18 audio files, 14 YouTube videos, and 4 album covers were listed among what the state wishes to admit as evidence for the trial, which is scheduled to begin in February 2025. The songs include Melly's biggest hit, Murder on My Mind. What's interesting is that during the first trial, prosecutor Christine Bradley told the court that the state could make its case without them. "We're not going to get into that because that's artistic expression. That's not why we're here today," she said at the time. But now, it seems the state is determined to have Melly locked up forever or even get the death penalty. But the most famous case of rap lyrics being used in court was in 6ix9ine's case. During the rapper's 2019 case, lyrics and music videos were used to build a case against the rapper's crew. Prosecution wanted to use music videos for the tracks Gummo, Cuda, Billy, and Don't Run in the trial. It turns out that the music videos contained appearances by members of 9 Trey Gang, and their lyrics speak about disputes between 6ix9ine and rival rappers. According to 6ix9ine's testimony in court during filming for the Gummo music video, he met several of the 9 Trey members at the shoot. He even told prosecutors that the music video was shot in front of a building that they considered a headquarters of sorts for 9 Trey. Young Thug banned from the Metro Atlanta. The terms of Thug's probation couldn't get worse, as he is banned from the heart of his hometown. The rapper must stay away from the Metro Atlanta area for the first 10 years of his probation. However, the judge made an exception for weddings, funerals, graduations, or a serious illness of an immediate family member. And even in the case of an exception, Young Thug can only arrive 24 hours before the event and must leave within 48 hours after. Additional conditions include submitting to random drug screens and not possessing a gun. However, despite his limited movement, especially in his hometown, the rapper is allowed to travel both nationally and internationally for work, even while on probation. At the heart of such harsh rules against the rapper are the various criminal activities that he allegedly was part of in Atlanta. Accused of running a violent Atlanta street gang disguised as a record label, YSL, Young Thug found himself at the center of a high-stakes trial that could have resulted in him spending decades behind bars. The indictment against him and 27 other alleged members of YSL painted a picture of a criminal enterprise involved in murder, assault, robbery, and more. At the end of 2021, Thugger stood as one of hip-hop's biggest rising stars. His rise to fame coincided with the establishment of his own record label, YSL. But as Young Thug's star continued to rise, so did the allegations against him and his record label. In May 2022, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis unveiled a shocking 56-count indictment, accusing Young Thug and 27 other alleged members of YSL of running a violent Atlanta street gang. According to the prosecution, YSL was not just a record label, but a dangerous criminal enterprise known as Young Slime Life, affiliated with the National Bloods gang. The indictment detailed a decade-long reign of terror centered around the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta. Prosecutors alleged that YSL members were responsible for a wide range of criminal activities, including murder, assault, robbery, theft, illegal gun possession, and drug sales. At the heart of the indictment was the claim that Young Thug was the clear leader of the organization, referred to as King Slime by his associates. Prosecutors argued that he had used his music to promote and glorify the gang's activities, making YSL a well-known name in the process. They pointed to lyrics in his songs as evidence of his involvement in criminal activities and his influence over the gang. The case against Young Thug and YSL was built on Georgia's Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO. This law, similar to the federal RICO statute, was designed to target organized crime and make it easier for prosecutors to dismantle criminal enterprises. By using RICO, the prosecution aimed to prove that Young Thug and his associates conspired to run an illegal enterprise, committing numerous individual acts in furtherance of the conspiracy. One of the most shocking allegations in the indictment centered around the 2015 killing of Donovan Thomas Jr., commonly known as Big Nut, a rival gang member. Prosecutors claimed that Young Thug had rented the car used in the murder, while 5 other YSL members were directly charged with the killing. This high-profile case sent shockwaves through the music industry and the Atlanta community, shining a spotlight on the dark underbelly of fame and success. The indictment also revealed disturbing details about YSL's involvement in other serious crimes. Prosecutors alleged that YSL members looked to Young Thug for leadership on various criminal activities. In one instance, they claimed that 2 YSL members discussed seeking permission from Young Thug before attempting to murder rival rapper YFN Lucci while he was in jail. These allegations painted a chilling picture of the gang's operations and the extent of Young Thug's influence within the organization. As the case progressed, an updated 65-count indictment was filed in August 2022, further increasing the charges against Young Thug. He now faced 8 counts, including participating in the RICO conspiracy, participating in a criminal street gang, violating the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of a firearm while committing a felony, and possession of a machine gun. These charges carried severe penalties and added to the gravity of the trial. But Thugger isn't the only rapper who had his crew targeted by a RICO, because New York rapper Casanova found himself in a similar situation. On December 1st, 2020, the feds arrested 17 members of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang. Prosecutors from the Southern District of New York Federal Court also declared a warrant for the arrest of Casanova, who they alleged was a leader within the gang. The gang, according to prosecutors, was involved in a list of criminal activities, including narcotics trafficking, violent assaults, and even murder. The narrative painted by the authorities depicted Casanova as a man who had leveraged his rap persona to amplify the gang's street cred, using his music and social media presence to further their operation. operations. The rapper was facing life in prison if convicted of the top charge against him, racketeering conspiracy. At first, Casanova pleaded not guilty to all his charges. However, he later changed his tune. On May 11, 2022, Casanova followed the footsteps of 12 other gang members and pleaded guilty to racketeering and narcotics offenses. He admitted to participating in shooting a man at a party in Florida over a gambling dispute in July 2020, a robbery in NYC in August 2018, and conspiring to traffic over 100 kilograms of weed. Jail time for violation. The craziest part about Thug's probation is the punishment that awaits him if he violates his terms. The judge sentenced him to 40 years that would have forced him to serve 5 years in prison, but the judge commuted it to time served. In addition, he must complete 15 years of probation, which can result in 20 years behind bars if probation is violated. It turns out that prosecutors wanted young Thug sentenced to 45 years, with 25 years in prison and the remaining 20 on probation. Thugger better not violate his terms, or he will end up like his brother Unfunk. The rapper's brother is now behind bars, and his story in the YSL Rico case has been wild because his name has been associated with being a snitch. Unfunk, whose real name is Quantavious Greer, took a plea deal, adding another twist to this already sensational story. According to local reports, Unfunk entered a negotiated guilty plea on one count of violating Georgia's RICO Act and a count of theft by reception of stolen property. The plea agreement resulted in a 12-year sentence, with 2 years being commuted to time served and the remaining 10 years on probation. As part of the agreement, Unfunk was also required to complete 750 hours of community service and couldn't possess any guns or commit any criminal acts while obeying a strict 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. He was also not allowed to contact his brother or any other of his co-defendants in the indictment until the case is over. The deal came with a lot of scrutiny, with reports of snitching going viral on social media. Unfunk took to Instagram stories to address the rumors circulating about his plea deal. He expressed his frustration, stating, "Damn, people really think I told on my own brother, shaking my head. Show me in my paperwork I told on anybody." He made it clear that he had no interest in entertaining such talk and ended his update with peace and blessings. Unfunk's lawyer, Nicole Mormon, shed some light on the situation. She explained that the 10-year probation period could potentially be terminated after 3 years. Mormon emphasized that Unfunk had not cooperated with authorities or agreed to testify against any of his co-defendants in the trial. Mr. Greer has accepted a plea offer of essentially 10 years of probation, which is eligible for termination after 3 years. Mr. Greer has not cooperated and has not agreed to testify against any of his co-defendants in the trial, his lawyer told the press. However, not long after, Unfunk was back in court for violating his plea agreement. Unfunk was brought in on charges of possessing a firearm as a convicted felon, persons associated with a criminal street gang to participate in illegal activity, and a few other traffic offenses. All eyes were on Judge Earl Glanville as he prepared to deliver the sentencing that would determine Unfunk's fate. The judge addressed Unfunk directly, reminding him of the special condition of his probation that explicitly prohibited him from possessing a firearm. "The issue I find aggravating in this particular circumstance is that you got arrested with a gun within 6 months of you being placed on probation," the judge stated. In a devastating blow to the embattled artist, Judge Glanville sentenced Unfunk to nearly a decade in jail.
"And for that reason, sir, I'm going to revoke the balance of 9 years and 6 months. And you will serve that in the Department of Corrections. And that will be the sentence of the court."
The severity of the sentence reflected the judge's belief that Unfunk was not a suitable candidate for probation due to his recent actions, but he isn't the only rapper who's behind bars for violating their probation, because recently, New York rapper 6ix9ine has made the news after he was arrested on similar terms. In November 2018, Tekashi 6ix9ine was arrested on federal charges including racketeering and murder conspiracy due to his involvement with the notorious 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, a violent street gang based in New York City. The charges were severe, and the potential consequences were dire. Facing the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence, Tekashi made a decision to cooperate with federal authorities, agreeing to testify against his former gangmates in exchange for a plea deal. During the trial, Tekashi took the witness stand and provided detailed testimony about the inner workings of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. In return for his testimony, Tekashi received a significantly reduced sentence. Under the terms of the plea deal, Tekashi was sentenced to 2 years in prison, followed by 5 years of supervised supervised release. Additionally, he was ordered to complete 1,000 hours of community service and pay a $35,000 fine. The conditions of Tekashi's supervised release were clear and strict. He was required to remain law-abiding, submit to regular drug testing, and obtain permission before traveling outside of designated areas. And it seems the rapper couldn't follow the terms of his probation because now he is back behind bars. The allegations against Tekashi 6ix9ine center around 3 key violations of his supervised release. First, he was accused of traveling to Las Vegas without obtaining the necessary permission from his parole officer. This unauthorized trip raised red flags, as it directly contravened the travel restrictions imposed upon it. The second alleged violation involved Tekashi's failure to submit to regular drug testing, a crucial component of his supervised release conditions. The third and perhaps most damning allegation was Tekashi's positive test for methamphetamine. Tekashi's defense argued that the positive test result was due to prescribed Adderall, a medication used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. However, the court was not easily swayed by this explanation, viewing it as part of a broader pattern of misconduct. The rapper risks a lengthy return to prison life, and this is what awaits Thugger if he decides to violate his probation terms. As the rapper enjoys his freedom, we will be watching to see if he violates his terms, and we'll be here to give you the scoop. Meanwhile, you can watch similar content by clicking on the boxes playing on your screen.